Hey everybody, Jason here and I'm back. Today I'm going to address a really important topic in my opinion, and it's, are slicks good for off-road racing? What I have here are three different specific tires, and from in order, this is an AKA front slick. This is a new Proline Prime, which is a slick, but it's got a little bit of a tread pattern on it. And then of course, right here we just have a good old-fashioned dirt web, and you can see it started to burn down to where it's actually got some slick spots on it. And so the reason I actually brought out the dirt web, we'll just get started with the dirt web. The reason I brought the dirt web out first is because there have been tracks that have tried to outlaw slicks, and that's really a slippery slope. Who is to say, or where do the rules, there's a lot of gray area when you're trying to determine when a pin tire becomes a slick. And for the most part, it seems like what these companies or tracks have said is, hey, once there's a bald spot on the tire, it's a slick. Now, you can see that this particular tire didn't wear super evenly, like right here in this little ridge. It's pretty much a slick, but over here on this side, not so much, right? So technically this tire at a track where they say once you have a bald spot, this tire would be a slick. Now, these tires are arguably, you know, people say that Proline tried putting the tread on there to keep it technically legal, but I really don't know what their reasoning was. But here's some things I want to talk to you guys about. There are some benefits to driving on slicks or racing on slicks, and number one, if you can run a slick, if there's enough traction to run a slick is almost always faster and usually by a large margin compared to a pin tire. So let me just give you a scenario. Let's just say that you are at a big race. The track is always damp in the morning. Some guy goes out on slicks and then you're not up for, let's just say, another hour, and the track's going to be dry. If that guy has a good run, you're not catching him on pins. It's just that simple. Slicks are way faster, and so they're really suited to tracks that can really control the racing surface or the dampness or the conditions of the racing surface very, very closely, or basically you need a very, very consistent track surface so that it's fair for everybody. Now, the other benefit of slicks, and some people would call this a drawback, but I would call it a benefit, is that it really teaches you to drive very smooth and very carefully. You can't have like these rough inputs on the throttle and steering because the surface just won't tolerate it. So it forces you to become a smoother driver while racing. Now let's talk about some of the okay, and I guess the last benefit. So obviously the first benefit is that they're super fast. They teach you to be super smooth on the wheel. And last but not least, you don't burn through pins. So in theory, you don't have to replace your tires as often, although that's not always the case. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Now let me make my case against slicks. Number one, you're going to break more stuff. If there's enough traction for a slick to work, if the car lands sideways, you're going to break more stuff. If you land sideways or you're off center at all, the car will land and then flip and just do a lot of weird stuff. The setup becomes supremely important, and the track conditions become supremely important because it almost takes the car to like a level of like a touring car where you have to have the car right on the edge of having gobs of steering but not oversteering. If the car's pushing with slicks, it's not going to be fast, I can assure you. You just can't hustle the car. You really need to be rolling into the brake while the car is going in a straight line, setting it in and rolling through the corner. If you're trying to pitch the car in with slicks and stuff like that, sooner or later the car is going to flip, and so all the hard work you've done trying to drive a clean run is wasted the first time you crash. The other thing is, these tires tend to rip away from the wheel. Now this is actually the tire that I ran at the 2015 Cactus Classic, and it's on an old style bead, which doesn't tend to rip as bad as some of the others, and you can still see that it's basically ripped. The rubber rips away because of how much traction we end up having, and so that's a little bit of a downside. Now the thing is, people that say, hey look, pins, you don't wear out slicks like you do pin tires, they're right, but you do wear out foams. And so a lot of times the tire will be good, but you'll end up having to slice out the insert and then re-glue the tire back together. And for newer drivers or guys that aren't like experts or veterans in the hobby, that's a little bit of a chore, and a lot of times it doesn't come out too well. So they may as well just buy new slicks with new inserts in them. So in general, I really feel like slicks, while they may teach you to drive really smooth, what they don't teach you to do is counter steer, and you never learn to slide the car. So I think that growing up, if you were to grow up racing on slicks, it will make you a smoother driver, but I don't know that it'll teach you the skills to slide the car and counter steer and stuff like that. So are slicks good for the industry? In my opinion, I would say that I don't think slicks are the answer. But I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're going to be here to stay, so I don't think it really matters how I feel about it. In general, I feel like off-road racing means not on pavement, so it shouldn't be flawlessly super gooey, sticky, mega traction. I think that's something that has a pin on it. I think that a surface where everybody's going as fast as they can go on pins is the type of surface that I personally prefer to run on. So anyways, that's my take on slicks. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. I'd love to hear your opinions. I know a lot of you guys won't agree with me. I know that there are a lot of guys out there that absolutely love slicks. They love essentially racing. And I say this like with love, right? On road with jumps, right? Just super high bites, super slick, super smooth, and just, you know, that is what it is. So anyways, please share your comments. Maybe we'll try and get a survey going to see what everybody thinks. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hey, by the way, before you leave, I just want to say thanks again for watching my videos. I only make these videos so that we can have fun together. By the way, you'd be doing me a big favor if you could either comment, like, or even better, subscribe to my channel. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.